Most valuable 6C best airmail rare stamps. The 1949 Alexandria stamp was issued to commemorate the 200th anniversary of the founding of the city of Alexandria in Virginia. Initially small town. Founded in 1749. Designed as a colonial port for the tobacco trade. The first overseer and founder of the city was John Carlisle. Landowner. He was a merchant, which dealt with exchanging and selling goods directly with the British colonies. On the center of this stamp, you will be able to see the city seal, which depicts a merchant vessel on a scale, which symbolizes trade. To the left, under the year of foundation, 1749. A building illustrating the home of John Carlisle, the founder of the city. To the right, under the year of commemoration and anniversary of this piece, 1949. The tavern, where George Washington often met, and John Paul Jones, father of the U.S. Navy, prominent admiral, and highly respected during the American Revolution. Above the seal, the face value of the stamp, 6 cents of the American dollar. George Washington contributed greatly to planning the city's road system, so much so that the country developed significantly, becoming not only an important port city, but also capital for several years of the United States of America. Postage stamp issued on May 11, 1949. It had a circulation of 75,085,000 copies, with an 11 by 10.5 serration. Today it is worth up to $30. The 1953 powered flight stamp was issued on the occasion of the 50th anniversary of the first powered flight. That thanks to the American Wright brothers. The motorized airplane made its first flight in 1903. The so-called Flyer. It was a motorized airplane, the first in history to have performed a controlled flight. A flight that lasted 12 seconds, capable of traveling 36 meters distance, and then landed quite softly. On the center, the written, commemorating the 50th anniversary from the first powered flight. Top left, the written, AIRMAIL. Bottom right, the nominal value of the piece, 6 cents of the American dollar. Down, the written, United States postage. Postage stamp issued on May 29, 1953. It had a circulation of 78,415,000 pieces, with an 11 by 10.5 serration. Today this piece is worth $30. The 1957 Air Force stamp was issued on the occasion of the 50th anniversary of his birth of the United States Air Force as part of the National Defense System. On the center, you will be able to see the Boeing B-52 Stratofortress, which first flew in 1952, conceived and designed to carry nuclear weapons during the Cold War. Luckily it was never used for that purpose, but dropped conventional munitions in combat. Top left, the Air Force flag. To the right, the writing commemorating the 50th anniversary, followed by the nominal value of the piece, 6 cents of the American dollar. Commemorative military stamp. Today this department is made up of over 329,000 soldiers, 1,056 aircraft, 2016 hunting, and 400 intercontinental ballistic missiles. Piece released on August 19, 1957. It had a circulation of 63,185,000 pieces, with an 11 by 10.5 serration. Today it's worth $35. The 1934 rotary 4-piece set, depicted in the center, a terrestrial globe, which has the writing inside, US AIRMAIL, next to 2 wings, which symbolize flight, and identify this stamp as a series from the AIRMAIL collection. Up, the writing United States postage. Down on the sides, the nominal value of the piece, 6 cents of the American dollar. Postage stamp issued in 1934. The correct quantity emitted is not known. A few million copies are assumed. Today these 4 stamps printed on the same sheet. They are worth $35. The The 1941 twin-engine aircraft stamp depicts a twin-engine transport plane composed of two engines, which revolutionized the travel system of the time, improving significantly the transport of passengers, goods, and goods via air service under the written AIRMAIL, which is divided by the number 6, which indicates the nominal value of the piece, 30 cents of the American dollar. Lower the written United States of America. This piece is part of a series of stamps intended to cover the various tariffs in force, both for the national airmail service, then for the foreign one. Particularly, this 6-cent stamp. It covered the national airmail service. Piece printed on June 25, 1941. It had a circulation of hundreds of millions of copies, with an 11 by 10.5 serration. Today a sheet containing 50 of these stamps is worth $40. The stamp, by the Wright brothers from 1949, was issued in commemoration of the 46th anniversary of the first successful flight of the heavier-than-air aircraft. The Wright brothers. They entered history as aviation pioneers, always interested in science and technology. Their father in 1878. He gave them a flying toy. Since then, the brothers always had in mind the project to develop a flying car, heavier than air, capable of carrying a man. A business that after hundreds of attempts, it became reality. You will be able to see on the center the first plane that managed to fly. The wings and the frame in double level. That thanks to a 12-horsepower petrol engine. Carried out in 1904. A 45-minute flight in the air. Above the image, the nominal value of the piece, 6 cents of the American dollar. Followed by the writing AIRMAIL. To the right, the faces of the two Wright brothers. Lower left, the writing first free controlled and sustained word flight by man. Postage stamp issued on December 17, 1949. It had a circulation of 80 million copies, with an 11 by 10.5 serration. Today it's worth $42. The 1963 bald eagle stamp depicts this predatory animal, very widespread in North America. It became the symbol of the United States of America in 1782. Stamp issued to comply at the new airmail rate for postcards. Brings the writing back up. US AIRMAIL. Lower left, the nominal value of the piece, 6 cents of the American dollar. The bald eagle, also called whitehead. It has a length between 70 and 100 centimeters. It can weigh between 3 and 6 kilograms. And its wingspan, it can vary between 1 meter and 80 centimeters and 2 meters and 30 centimeters. Postage stamp issued on July 12, 1963. It had a circulation of hundreds of thousands of copies, with an 11 by 10.5 serration. Today on a sheet of 50 pieces it is worth $50. The 1949 Sky Master stamp, depicted in the center, the DC4 Sky Master, 4-engine propeller plane, which was used during World War II, took its first flight in 1942, and played a fundamental role in the Allied war effort. Strategic transport aircraft. It was 28 meters long, 8 meters high, and was capable of carrying up to 50 soldiers. It could reach 451 kilometers per hour, and fly at 4,250 meters above sea level, with a maximum autonomy of 4,000 kilometers. Above the image, you will be able to see the writing AIRMAIL, followed by the nominal value of the piece, 5 cents of the American dollar. After the Second World War, this plane, it was used extensively in commercial aviation, for airmail delivery. With this stamp, you could pay the reduced national airmail rate, including sending correspondence between the territories of the United States, Hawaii, Guam, and the Canal Zone. Postage stamp issued on January 18, 1949. It had a circulation of hundreds of millions of copies. It has a 10.5 by 11 serration, and today a sheet composed of 50 of these pieces. It's worth $120. The 1938 Eagle Airmail stamp was issued to celebrate National Airmail Week, which he commemorated the 20th anniversary of the first government airmail flight. On the center, you will be able to see the eagle, symbol of the United States of America. Up, the writing airmail. Down, the nominal value of the piece, 6 cents of the American dollar. This piece was first offered for sale in Dayton, in Florida, where the first passenger flight took place. Postage stamp issued on May 14, 1938. Was issued in 349 million copies. Printed by the flat plate method, where a smooth matrix held the ink to release them by pressure on the paper, with an 11 serration. Today it is worth $140. The 1949 American airliner stamp commemorates the 23rd anniversary since the founding of the largest U.S. airline, American Airlines, founded in 1926. Today it is made up of a fleet of 967 aircraft that carry passengers all over the world, in 349 different destinations. You will be able to see a typical aircraft of the company from 1949, flying over New York City. Postage stamp issued in 1949. It had a circulation of millions of copies, and today a sheet containing 50 of these copies is worth $150. The 1953 powered flight stamp depicts technological progress of the aeronautics done in 50 years, from 1903 to 1953. In fact, you will be able to see at the bottom right the first prototype aircraft, composed of a helix and double structures that had sheets as wings. Top left, a military jet used during military wars. All top, the writing commemorating the event, 50th anniversary, with on the right, the year 1903 and 1953. Postage stamp issued in 1953, with a circulation of millions of copies. Today a sheet containing 50 of these pieces. It's worth $150. The 1949 Statue of Liberty stamp, depicted in the center, the symbol of New York, and the entire U.S. country. Statue of Liberty, which symbolizes freedom and illuminates the whole world. Inaugurated in 1884. The structure is made of steel and coated in copper. 93 meters high. It weighs 156 tons. This statue, she is personified in a female figure, then wrapped in a long toga, dress of ancient Rome, which was worn by senators and magistrates. She holds on her right hand a lit torch, as testimony that freedom is justice. On the left hand, a board engraved with the date of the Declaration of Independence, July 4, 1776. Above his head, a diadem with 7 rays, representing the 7 seas and 7 continents of the world. Behind this image, you will be able to see the typical skyscrapers of New York City, above a plane flying over the territory. Postage stamp issued in 1949, with a circulation of tens of millions of copies. Today a sheet containing 50 of these pieces. It's worth $200. The 1918 Curtiss Jenny stamp depicts the famous Curtiss Jenny airplane, a 90-horsepower biplane, which departed from New York and Washington due to a faulty compass. Washington's flight landed off course in Maryland. The Curtiss airplane, it was just over 8 meters long. It could carry up to 871 kilograms and reach a maximum speed of 121 kilometers per hour. Above the image, you will be able to see the writing U.S. postage. Under, the nominal value of the piece, 6 cents of the American dollar. In 1918, federal law authorized the Post Office Department to transport mail by plane, giving life to the creation of this stamp. This piece, he was released on December 10, 1918. It had a circulation of 3,395,000 copies, with an 11 serration. Today it is worth $1,250.